Long time, no update. Hey guys, Mike Tendo here, and I wanted to take a moment to do a quick little update video. I've got a couple announcements, a couple updates. I wanted to kind of forecast a little bit as far as what I plan on doing in the next few months, and also give like an update for pretty much the remainder of 2018 as far as where the channel's going. Also going to give a shout out as well, so stay tuned at the end for the shout out. First off, you may have noticed a different look, and I don't mean me in particular, but I do mean me in terms of the avatar that normally you would see when you click on my channel, or maybe if you follow me on Twitter at my handle, which should be, I don't know, some down here in the README, I don't know, wherever. There's a new avatar. So I've long scrapped the long overdue update that's been needed, that's been really needed. That avatar that you guys used to see when I would review stuff, if you look at the past few months or whatever, you would have known it's like the fiery image of me. It's like a pixelated thing, and that was done by my buddy Brian. It was based off a photo that my friend Christine took back in like 2006, 2007. And it's outdated, it's old, it needed to be changed. And so I wanted to kind of, I'm not an artist personally in terms of like drawing. I'm not really good at illustrating anything or drawing anything. But I had been trying to get some people to help me out with working on Avatar, and even utilizing some of the Patreon money to pay for it, which that was the whole reason why I set up the Patreon in the first place, but we'll talk about that later. And I was able to successfully pay someone to do a brand new avatar based on some information that I gave them for what I wanted. I wanted to keep it kind of similar, but I also wanted to update it, make it a little different, a little newer. And so I did. So the final result, which you should see somewhere on the screen here, is the new avatar. It's the new logo for the channel, if you will. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The person who did it, it was on Twitter. They go by like at MegaXLOX or something like that. So I will put their Twitter handle down below. Feel free to follow them. They do pretty good work. So if you're interested, if you're in the market for a new avatar and you want something, if you like what you see with mine and you want something similar, definitely recommend checking them out. That's not the shout out, by the way. That's just, So, yeah, as far as everything else that's been going on the channel, earlier in the year I did a couple episodes of PIXELTUNES radio without Ed. Ed needed to take some time off, and so we did a couple episodes without him. Ed did come back, and we did episode 106, which was our 4th anniversary, which guest starred Snake, like Solid Snake, and Ryu Hayabusa. So check that out. That was a lot of fun to do, and it was a very different episode as far as like how we were able to structure it and everything. So it worked out really well. It's just basically free picks. After that, we did PC98, which we just released a few weeks ago, and that is just a showcasing of the PC98 as far as the computer system goes regarding the music. Some fantastic FM synth, so if you like FM synth or video game music in general, you will dig that episode. Definitely recommend checking that out because it's really awesome music. PIXELTUNES is now on a monthly release schedule, if you hadn't heard before. So just so you know, PIXELTUNES is no longer every other week. Now it is 1 month, and that's the way it will be. That is what's going on with PIXELTUNES. One other announcement regarding PIXELTUNES, which I'll save more towards the end. So that's PIXELTUNES done, out of the way. Everything was really kind of like I was working under a lot of pressure because I hadn't released anything since the Mega Man Unlimited episode for Dude, You Haven't Played This Game. And so a few weeks ago, probably about 3-4 weeks ago, I released the Battle Chasers Night War review, which I'm pretty stoked to finally have out. It was like a weight was lifted off my chest. It was a very stressful episode because it was taking so long, and I really tried to get you guys something once a month as far as reviews go, so that way I keep this stream of games that I'm reviewing going, and ever since getting that review off my chest, I felt like a wave of creativity kind of come out, and you know, kind of like a burst in creativity, which is good, it's very good. I'm happy about it. After that, I released a new episode of NOOB Repair, which was great to get back to. So that was episode 10, and it was storage ideas for controllers, arcade sticks, light guns, and just some other stuff like odds and ends, cables, wires. And so I thought that was good to do. I actually filmed that back in, I'm gonna say December, like December, November, like late November, early December. I filmed that, so you may see some differences in terms of hair and face and facial hair and whatnot. So that was good to get out. I've got one more episode that I'm going to be doing that I've already recorded, and that's with my buddy Eric, so I brought him back and we recorded it. It's a really in-depth video. I'm not going to spoil it because I think you guys will be excited, but I will say it is Sega related. So yeah, it might even be a two-part episode, I'm thinking. So it's a beast of an episode for NOOB Repair. I have not started editing yet. Unfortunately, it's going to be a long time for me to edit it, and there's other projects that I want to work on. And since I just released this episode of NOOB Repair, I'm going to hold off maybe like a couple weeks and then start working on it. Okay, what else? So after Battle Chasers Night War, I had fully intended to put this out in January because I had expected Battle Chasers to be out in December and be done with, but the game took a lot longer than expected to beat. But my full intention was to re-review Annnouncements, and I'm really happy that I did. It came out great. I thought the episode was awesome. So yeah, definitely check that out. That I also did as a kind of like combo release with Annnouncements gaming linguistics, as far as like how to pronounce Annnouncements, which obviously I just went over it. And I was happy about that because I got to talk about a little bit of Greek mythology, which was really cool. And so I just put that out a week ago with the Dude You Haven't Played This Game of Annnouncements. So check those both out because I think that you'll dig them. After that, this week I put out a few days ago 5 times a Sega console blew me away. I tend to notice that I don't really talk about Sega that often. That's going to change. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Sega in the future, or trying to do more Sega reviews. I've done a couple of Genesis games here and there, but I'd like to dive into other systems like the Saturn, the Sega CD, the Sega Dreamcast, etc. I've done one Sega Dreamcast review, which was Choo Choo Rocket back in the day, but yeah, so I do plan on doing a little bit more Sega related stuff and kind of getting away from the Nintendo stuff. It's not that I dislike it or anything like that. I'm just trying to kind of change it up. And you may have noticed over the past few months, I've been doing a little bit more PC reviews, PC related, and PC exclusives. And so I'm going to continue that as well. So let me tell you a little bit about what I've got planned in the near future for the channel, just kind of in general. I've got a couple really good ideas for videos. One is a review that literally just sprang into my head the other day, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to do something on this game. And so look for that probably in the next few weeks. I'm hoping to get it out. It's going to be a quickie. It's going to be quick in terms of I've already got everything planned out. I just need to do it. So yeah, that should be out in the near future in the next few weeks. After that, I'm going to be kind of locked down because I'm going to be working on a big project that I'm going to be releasing in May, and it's going to be for a special project called Metal May. I'm really hoping that this will actually get put out. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. We'll see if everything works out. I don't know if it's going to. I know I'm being incredibly vague, but there'll be it's hard for me to explain it because I want to tell you right now what it is, but I like keeping secrets with this stuff. So just I promise you it will be awesome. And but yeah, it's called Metal May, and that's all I can really say about that. Yeah. So that's Dude You Haven't Played This Game for the next like maybe 2 months or so. as far as long-term stuff down the road, I have an episode of Gaming Linguistics planned, and then Gaming Linguistics, I don't have anything else planned, so feel free to leave some suggestions if you'd like down below as far as what you'd like to see me cover for that. Noob Repair is kind of this same thing. I've got one other episode in mind that I'd like to do, which would be a pretty simple one, but I don't plan on getting that out until probably like late May, early June, I'd say, at the earliest. And then right around that time, my wife is about to give birth to our first child, and so it's going to be a baby girl, and we're very excited. And so that'll be June, like late June, and at that point I would say that I'm no longer going to be able to keep with a regular schedule in terms of, hey, I'm going to put something out every week. I've been trying to focus on putting stuff out every single week, and that is going to be incredibly difficult with a newborn child. I'm going to be working more, possibly. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do fully plan on continuing PIXELTUNES, and I do fully plan on continuing Dude You Haven't Played This Game. But the releases for Dude You Haven't Played This Game will go a lot more stagnant, and what I may end up doing is just kind of filling in as I go with stuff like Gaming Linguistics and Noob Repair and stuff like that. So anything that I can do to kind of, you know, pad the channel as best as possible. So my recommendation for you, if you're watching this right now and you're a fan of the channel, you're subscribed or whatever the case may be, first off, if you aren't subscribed, definitely subscribe so that way you know when new releases are coming out. If you're just kind of popping on, you're seeing this video and you're like, what is he babbling about? I recommend subscribing. That way you can get updates on what I'm putting out. That way you're not just, you know, floating around here. A second thing that I would recommend doing is clicking the little bell. There's a little bell notification which I'll show you, and if you click that, then that will make it so that way you get notifications. Now, I'm not the sort of person on YouTube who's putting stuff out literally every day, so I'm not going to bombard your inbox, but it does help if you do want to stay in touch with the channel and you're like, oh man, I missed like 5 of this guy's videos, what's the deal? I recommend that. So that was suggested to me a while back by Billy from the Game Chasers. He actually made a video about it. So I would suggest doing that, definitely. Now, regarding Patreon, since we were on the topic, if you do want to support the channel, that would mean a lot. Even $1 helps, but you can support the channel by going to patreon.com/dongled, and link down in the description below as well. Definitely check out that. There's a bunch of really neat rewards, such as like I go game hunting for you, and currently I am working on possibly doing a review based on what somebody donated, and one of the things that they donated to was putting out a review based on their suggestions. So I've got a suggestion in mind, and we are going back and forth on it, and I'm gonna, you know, kind of go through that, and maybe that'll be like the June release, I'm hoping, or maybe even earlier, maybe even like late April. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how much time I have for it. It's going to be a fairly short review, to be honest, and but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. So I'm glad that I was able to get someone who's interested in doing that. So if you're interested in suggesting for reviews and you want to seriously work on a script or an idea with me, definitely check out that Patreon, so that way you can sign up for it. I'm thinking about kind of revamping it again this year to include things like Discord, or you know, things like that. I'm interested in finding out what types of things as rewards you guys like with your Patreons. Like if you subscribe to other Patreons, what's a cool thing that they do that you're like, oh man, that's awesome, I wish that more people did that. I'm interested in hearing about that, because honestly I'm kind of a noob when it comes to it, and I'd like to adjust things so that you know, if people were more intrigued or more interested, that would definitely help out the channel quite a bit. So you know, the big focus with the Patreon is connection. I like being connected to people and letting them know, giving them kind of an inside scoop beyond these updates, because these updates only come out, what, like every 3 months, and it doesn't really sit, like I don't give you any specific information. And on the Patreon, I do give specific, like, hey, this is the game I'm reviewing, here's the thumbnail for it. So a lot of that stuff comes out way earlier than expected. At this point in time, you may, if you are subscribed to the Patreon, you will see the next review that I'm going to be putting out, because I've already, as of today, put out what it's going to be. You're going to see it. So if you're interested in signing up for it, you could jump ahead and see what the next review is going to be that I've got planned. What else? Well, there's two announcements that I wanted to make. The first announcement is that my co-host on PIXELTUNES Radio, Ed Wilson, unfortunately his brother's son was just diagnosed with like leukemia or some form. I believe it's leukemia because it's a form of cancer that primarily only affects like very young children. And you know, he has a little boy, maybe like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 or 2. I can't remember how old he is, to be honest with you. But he's young. He's really young. And for him to be affected by this in such a young stage in a child's life, it's terrible. So Ed reached out to me regarding doing something for him, for Cam. That's his name. And so we're doing a t-shirt run for PIXELTUNES Radio. We're using teespring.com again. So link down in the description below. All the proceeds go to, so you can get stickers, mugs, all sorts of stuff. T-shirts, we've revamped the t-shirts again, so you can check those out. They've got kind of an 80s style to them. So check that out on teespring.com. And all the proceeds go to Brendan and his son Cam. So if you want, donate to that. Again, none of this is, it's all purely if you want to do something. The second announcement is my buddy Russ Lyman. You may or may not know who Russ Lyman is if you don't check out his channel. Again, I promise, not the shout out, but I did want to say that Russ is a good friend of the channel. He's been on the he was on the Mega Man 3 review as part of his Mega Man March or Mega March project last year. And you guys, if you're from my area, or if you've been to conventions, you may have seen the Mario Kart car. And unfortunately, he got into an accident with the Mario Kart car, like slipped on some ice or something like that, and the car's completely totaled. And so, you know, the car was kind of a staple around here and at conventions. So his buddy Dave is raising money for him to be able to rebuild a new car, because the car was completely totaled. So he's raising money to do that for Russ, which is really cool. So link down in the description below. This is more just an announcement, just to let you know about it. I wanted to help spread the word about the GoFundMe for his car. All right, time for a shout out. So today's shout out is for a YouTuber who has under 100 subs. 100, not 100,000. Not 10,000, not 1,000. He has under 100 subs right now. He's almost at 100. His name is Pragmatik, and that's with a K at the end. And he does a lot of different types of reviews, mostly like retro stuff, but he has done a little bit of newer stuff. He recently did a Monster Hunter World review. He kind of does skits in his reviews, very similar to me. But he did an Odin Sphere review, and this is what kind of caught my eye. I watched his Odin Sphere review. It was very well written, very well edited, and the jokes in the beginning were really funny. So, you know, he's got great timing, like, for his humor. So I would recommend checking him out if you're looking for something new to watch from a YouTuber that's really kind of up and coming. Nobody really talks about this guy. I kind of found him by accident, in all honesty. And yeah, his name is Pragmatik, so go check him out. Link down in the description below for his channel. So go check him out. Don't just sub to him and watch his stuff, because he's really good, and I think you guys will really enjoy him. That's gonna do it for this update. It's kind of like, you know, it's running a bit long, and I apologize for that, but I had a lot of stuff to go over, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do so. As far as the channel goes, thank you so much to everyone who's watched, commented, liked a video, anything. Sub to the channel, donated to the Patreon. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate each and every one of you for coming here and checking out the channel. So again, thanks guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later.